Shalom, family. I'm back yet again for another teaching. And the title for today is Faith is the Key to Unlock the Door. I'm going to be coming out of Hebrews 11:17 through 19. And then we're going to jump around to a few other areas in order to bring it all together. And it reads as thus. By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac. And he that had received the promise offered up his only begotten son. Okay, there are a lot of key things just in this one particular verse. What's the key things? Okay, I'm glad you asked. The first thing is only begotten. Now, the word only begotten means the only legitimate son. And we already know that Isaac was not his only son, because Abraham had already had Ishmael, which was the oldest. So that wouldn't make Isaac his only son. But does it bring truth to the light when it says his only begotten son, if the word only begotten means only legitimate son, only promised son, the only son I told you that you were supposed to be having that is going to bring about a change in the world? All right. If you don't believe me, that there could be more than one son, even though they state that word, where we heard this only begotten word another time in scripture. How about John 3:16? I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know how to quote that by heart. But if you don't, we're going to go there anyways. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Okay, now let me ask you another question. See if anybody win this one. Was Yeshua God's only son? No, he wasn't his only son. Was he his only begotten son? Yes, he was. Now, don't worry. Just in case you got a puzzled look on your face or you're a little confused, I'm going to bring you in the light. I promise you I won't leave you in darkness. Let's go there. Let's do a couple of other scriptures that's going to bring this out for you. If you in your Bible, but if not, come back to it later. Luke 3:23 through 38. But I'm not finna read that long drawn out thing. I'm finna break down to you what it says and just give you that very last verse. Now, in this area, it breaks down, it gives you the genealogy of Yeshua. Now, the key thing I want you to pay attention to is verse 38. In verse 38, it says, which was the son of Enos, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam, which was the son of God, Elohim. Hold on. That's another person who Elohim called his son. Now, he didn't put that title on it or cap it off with only begotten, but he did do the whole thing of saying the son of Elohim. What about in Genesis 6:1 through 2? And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God, the sons of Elohim, saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives, all which they chose. Hold on, there's another incident where it says sons of God, sons of Elohim. Now let's see if it connects with us too. In Isaiah, which is one of the prophets, Isaiah 43:6. And God called his people his sons and daughters. So we too are his children. But I don't want you to get it confused, because see, in another teaching, I did the whole difference of so you call yourselves gods. Oh, you gotta go and pay attention to that teaching right there. And it breaks down of you the guy with the little G versus the guy with the big G. You ain't really got no power. You gotta stay connected just to be able to get a fuse. So without the power, I mean, it becomes null and void for your title to get like a capital letter. You just get the little one. Sorry. But you still, one of his sons, or you still one of his daughters. It don't change that fact. Alrighty. Now, I just want, bring these different things to light just in case you was a little confused of the difference between the two. See, Adam, he was created. But every seed after Adam came through Adam. So when you come through man, you are no longer considered, the son of God unless you get grafted in, unless you trust and believe. That's what at that point makes you the sons and the daughters. But if you stop your belief system, if you say that there's no longer a God, or you don't believe and trust in God, or you don't think that he exists, okay, now you don't knock yourself out of the category of a son or daughter. Be careful with your words. Words are powerful. You might not want to go that route. Okay, but like I said, Yeshua, created being, begotten. Okay, when it comes down to Adam, created being, but he was son, not only begotten. Okay, let's keep it lined up. Only begotten means that you are legitimate. I ain't go no other way. You came straight. You like really, really mine. Ain't no way, to go around that. All right, let's keep it moving. Of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. So, just in this little bitty verse, it's a lot being said. Who did Isaac have? Isaac had Jacob and Esau. And Jacob's name got turned into Israel, who became the father of the Israelites, which were the 12 tribes of Israel. So, this is why this particular verse is so key when it says that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Inside of Isaac was the seed of Jacob. Jacob who was Israel later on. Now, I'm glad we got all that. Let's continue on. In verse 19, counting that Elohim was able to raise up even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. All right, now let's go in this verse and see what's all being said. Accounting, meaning it's a thought. He was thinking that God was able, and he is, he's more than able. But that God was able to raise him up, meaning his son, even from the dead. Okay, but think about it. Later on, Elohim does raise his son from the dead. It becomes more than just a thought, but a reality. But see, Abraham felt that strong about it for his only son, for his only begotten son. All these things are foreshadows of things to come. Everything that Abraham did at that particular moment was a foreshadow of things to come. So it said, from whence also he received him in a figure. Now the word figure is the same thing as saying parable or proverb. So it was kind of hidden. It was hidden within the story. So it was a story within a story. And I already brought to the light of where that story comes to pass, where it actually comes to fruition. It comes to fruition when Yeshua comes into play. So it hadn't happened yet, and it wasn't even going to happen in Abraham's lifetime. But we're going to let you set the example by acting it out. Now, I want you to jump over into Genesis. We're going in Genesis 22, and we're going to read 1 through 19. Okay? That's what we're going to next. All right. So, And it reads as thus. Then it came to pass after these things that Elohim did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. Now, I want you to stop right there. Do you remember back in Hebrew, when we started in Hebrew, it tells you that in 17, it reads, by faith, Abraham, when he was tried. See, y'all don't think y'all gonna be tried. But you gotta be tried. Because see, Elohim, he only looking for, those few people who are going to worship him in spirit and in truth. Are you a part of that number? Remember, the Bible says many are called, but few are chosen, which is the title of another teaching I did, once before. Many are called, but few are chosen. It's going to be very few people make it in heaven. Out of all these people you see, it's going to be few. Think about Noah. When Noah entered the ark, out of all the people in the world, the only people who believed and trust was Noah's family. And it was only 8 people got on that boat. If that ain't making the number drop down to a few, oh my goodness, you might as well say it made you feel more like a couple. But it was a little more than a couple, but it was definitely a few. Oh my goodness. It's going to be the same thing when it comes down to Yeshua coming back. There's only going to be a few. Now, it's going to be more than 8 this particular time. And the boat is going to be bigger. But compared to the amount of people that has multiplied in this world in today's time, it's still only going to be a few. All right, so we're moving on. And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son, Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. All right, Lord, here you go again. You already asked me to leave my father's house to go with you into a land which you will show me. Okay, I was going in blind and allowing you to lead me. Once again, I will go in blind again and allow you to lead me. Because each time you lead me, you don't never leave me nor forsake me as you're leading me down these roads. See, this path, it's narrow. It's a lot of different ways you feel like you can get there. But those ways won't truly lead you there. You have to stay on the narrow path. And that's one thing that Abraham tried to make sure he always did. Lord, if you said it, that settles it. He didn't waver, not at all. I mean, a lot of us, we would have a lot of questions. I know I would. I mean, I just got to be truthful. I would have 50 million questions of Lord, why? And not saying Abraham didn't have his times to ask some questions. He did, but he chose the moment. Like I got to choose my battles when it come down to the Lord, or when I'm going to actually say something versus when I really need to be quiet and listen. A lot of us need to learn that key thing. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took 2 of his young men with him and Isaac his son, and cleaved the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went into the place which Elohim had told him. Okay, first off, we definitely got to pause at this verse. Hold up, did he not rise up early? Early. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That would not have been me. That would have been one morning. I would have truly been getting up late that morning, looking at the clock like, okay, Lord, I just need 5 more minutes. And hitting the snooze button, okay, I just need another 5 more minutes. Because I know in my mind where I'm actually ending up at, where I'm going. But see, this is the whole thing of how the mind can deceive you. The mind can play tricks on you. My mind would have went 100 miles an hour to come up with how the end of that scenario would have ended up. How that scenario would have ended up, I would have already put that together. I would have pieced together that puzzle so quickly. But this is how when the Lord say, your thoughts are not my thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. My thoughts are higher than your thoughts. See, your thoughts low. Come up here where I am if you want to, see a little better. See a little clearer. Abraham didn't question. He just did. Not only he did it to the T. I know they say that the early bird gets the worm. That would have been one morning. Some other bird would have had to get that worm. Because I already know what I'm supposed to be going into. Lord, I don't want to rush into that. No, I'm going that slowly. Slowly. I ain't trying to rush over that. That just would have been me. I'm pretty sure there's a couple other people that they probably would have been too, but just me in the thought alone on what the Lord had told me that I'm supposed to be going up in this place to do. Then on the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. Okay, I'm finna combine them two verses together. The word early and third day. Now, was not Yeshua in the grave for 3 days? And did not the Bible say that early on that morning, on that third day morning, he rose up. He got up out of that grave. All this still leading to that thought that Abraham had that surely the Lord is going to raise him from the dead if he's telling me to go sacrifice him. The thought that went on in Hebrew is going on at this moment. It's being the parable that's being fulfilled, like right through Yeshua. But we don't know that it's being fulfilled yet. Things that were foretold, things that were shown to the T, but you just don't know that you're acting it out. And Abraham said unto his young men, abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you. Okay, he brought 2 young men with him and his son Isaac. How many people died on the cross that day? 3. You had 2 people that was beside Yeshua, on each side of Yeshua. Now, I brought this up in the last teaching that I just gave, and I brought, to light of what was going on. I talked about the whole doorpost. Here it is. It's being highlighted yet once again. But it wasn't those last appointed time. It was the appointed time to be in position, because they needed to be in position. So meaning you're going with me, but you can't go all the way with me. You can only go so far until your time comes. So he left them also with the ass. What was it that Yeshua rode in on before his death? An ass. He sent his disciples to go get the ass. Told him that a man will be holding, if a man question you about it, tell him I'm the one that's, sending for this donkey. And the donkey was set for an appointed time. Everything was followed to the T. Told you. Elohim don't do nothing by chance. He's not a by chance God. Everything that he does has meaning and purpose. So, he also said, man, lad, we finna go up yonder and we finna worship. Hold on, Abraham, how you can say that? That ain't what Elohim told you. He said you was going up there to sacrifice. He said you was going up there to sacrifice your son. And you don't sit up here and told these men that y'all coming back. Did not Abraham prophesy to these young men? They listen. I know what you see. I know it might be a little confusing right now, but we'll be back. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. Now, let me bring to the light a lot of other things that was just in this key verse. You got Abraham, who represents the Father. He took the wood. But the father didn't carry the wood. Why? Because it wasn't his cross to bear. It wasn't his cross to bear. He gave it unto the son, who had to carry his own wood for his own sacrifice. Yeshua did the same thing. He carried his own cross for his own sacrifice. Now, it said, now he carried the fire. Why? Because he was going to be the one that was going to light the fire for the sacrifice. He also carried the knife because he was going to be the one who was going to be doing, who was going to be killing the sacrifice. The Bible said that it pleased the Lord to bruise Yeshua. Come on now, these things gotta be, a light bulb gotta be going off like back and forth in your mind. Like it's gotta be firing up like majorly right now. And it said they went together, because this was something that they both were gonna have to do together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father? And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Now this lets you know Isaac was a very smart individual. I'd have been asking the same question. Isaac, okay, I see everything. It's one and one makes two. And hold on, we missing something. Daddy, Father, what a lamb? I love what Abraham said unto him, which was also a key component. It was key in this whole particular thing. Abraham said, My son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went, both of them together. Now, he said Elohim will provide himself a lamb. Provide himself a lamb. Provide himself a lamb. I know I'm saying it quite a few times, but I want you to get it. The Bible says that Elohim was in Yeshua, redeeming man unto himself. It said, and they both went together. They both did it together. Like, son, don't worry. I ain't gonna leave you alone. I'm with you. I got you. Let's read on. And they came to the place and they came to the place which Elohim told him of. And Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son and laid him on the altar upon the wood. All right. Now, I'm going to put myself in Isaac's shoes just for a second. I'm standing back and I'm watching my dad take the wood out of my hand, lay it in the proper place, setting up the altar. And my dad turned around. My father turns around and grabs my hand and starts to tie me up. Now, in my mind, first thing I'm saying, Dad, what you doing? Why you tying me up? Did not you say that Elohim will provide a lamb? I don't understand. Why am I being tied up? Why are you laying me up on the altar? Did you just pick me up and lay me on the altar now? Hold up. I don't think, was I supposed to be the lamb? How is this Elohim providing the lamb, Father? But in actuality, Isaac didn't say not a mumbling word. Just like Yeshua didn't say a mumbling word. He allowed his father to do those things to him. Now, jumping back and putting myself in Abraham's shoes. In the back of Abraham's mind, I'm pretty sure he was repeating the same words that he said unto Isaac, his son. Elohim will provide. Elohim will provide. Elohim will provide. As he's doing each step of the way, he's shaking, but yet trusting. Knowing, okay, I know what you promised me. So you gotta provide. You gotta actually provide a lamb. But he still didn't stop. He did not stop. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. So he reached down and he grabbed the knife from out of its sheath and he lifted up, getting prepared to slay his only begotten son, his legitimate son. In full stride, still repeating in his mind, Elohim will provide. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here am I. Oh my goodness, I'm pretty sure those were like music, those words, his voice, his name alone was like music to his ears. Deep in his heart, he was screaming out, thank you. Because this is a hard thing to do. Having his son look up at him with tears in his eyes, as there are tears in the Father's eyes, as he's getting ready to do this. At this moment, through Isaac's eyes, I could hear Yeshua saying, Father, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? Why have you put me here on this altar to slay me? But the Father had to go through with it until he was stopped. And he said, lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest Elohim, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. Now, most people will say, hold on, Elohim, you all knowing. Why do you say at this moment, now I know? You got to understand that we are vessels. At any point in time, we can be used the same way Adam and Eve was used to bring sin into the world from the beginning. You are given a choice. Now I know you will make the choice to choose, listen, and obey my words. You trust me. Now I know. See, he's looking for a select group of people that will worship him in spirit and in truth. And through Abraham, that seed will come. Now I know. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. Now, in another one of my teachings that I posted not too long ago, in Behold, I Show You a Mystery of the Signs, it breaks down, and it's amazing how I just broke down the ram part, but it breaks down the ram, the classification of the ram, how the ram had to come. It had to be without spot, without blemish. It had to be pure. It had to be a male. That's what made it a ram. A ram is a male lamb. And here it is, the thought that was lingering in the back of Abraham's mind came to pass. Elohim did provide. He provided then, he provided later on, and he will provide for us as well, people. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, or Jehovah Jireh, because there was no J's back then. So Jehovah Jireh, which means God, my provider. And it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time. First time Yeshua left, second time he coming back. He came out of heaven the first time as a lamb. Second time he's coming back as the Lion of Judah. And said, behold, and said, by myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. So here it is. He's letting him know, just like my title was, faith is the key to unlock the door. Through faith, you were able to open up the door, not only for you to be blessed, but for your seed to be blessed. And this blessing ain't just going to stop at your seed. It even went deeper than your seed. All from your obedience and your faithfulness. The Bible says obedience is better than sacrifice. Here it is, Abraham was sent to sacrifice. But from his obedience, he opened up something even greater. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt in Beersheba. So here it is. They all went in to Beersheba together. The young men that were left behind. Isaac, the promised, chosen, legitimate son, and the father. They all went in together into this land. And so this is letting you know it not only opened up for Abraham's seed, but it opened up for those like us as well. It opened up for the Gentiles. See, y'all thought the area of the Gentiles didn't get opened up until the seed of Abraham decided to deny Yeshua. No. It was already foretold that it would be opened up to the Gentiles as well. And that it would come through the seed, which is Yeshua himself. He would release the reward unto everyone else. That is amazing. Those were some major nuggets that he dropped, through just those areas, and to bring us from out of darkness into the marvelous light.